Good day, good day. It's your boy Big Canucker here with another knife review for all you knife nerds out there. Now, I just wanted to kind of go over a knife that I have recently just picked up, probably about a month ago. So I've been carrying this here off and on for the last month, and it's a little bit of an older model. It's actually the Recon 1 clip point in the CTS XHP Carpenter Steel. I know right now that these puppies are coming out with the S35 VN, but you know what, with Christmas coming up, funds are a little bit low. I managed to pick this up in Winnipeg pre-owned. So the gentleman had this knife for probably about 4 years or so. Said he used it quite regularly, and you can tell it is, although it is held up extremely well. He said it was kind of a real hard use knife, and that's something that I found out myself here over the last month. This is a hard use knife. All right, just going to give you a little bit of size comparison. We've got the good old Lucky Toonie here. Right beside it, that actually makes it look a little bit smaller, is the Spyderco K2, which is a big knife. We've also got here something that's a little bit smaller, the Spidey Chef, and what the heck here, I'm actually carrying this one here right now, so let's go with the Smock, which I've just put a brand new edge on that. So this is quite a substantial, heavy-duty, heavy-use folding knife. But you know what? It doesn't carry like a big knife. Just to give you a size of some of these size of these knives here. Let's see. We've got a 4-inch blade. We've got a closed length of 5 1/4 inches. Here, of course. So it's kind of a big knife, but it's only 1/2 inch wide. And that, I think, is something that it's a real benefit and a plus for this particular knife. At a 1/2 inch wide, it carries in the pocket like a much smaller knife. That's one thing I've noticed. It's, 5 1/4 inches long, 4-inch blade. When it's open, it's 9 1/4 inches long. It's a long knife, but it's only 1/2 inch wide. So it doesn't seem to carry like the big monster that it is. The blade itself is 0.12 inches wide, or 3.5 millimeters. So it's a fairly beefy stock, but they've actually, in this particular model, the clip point, they've got a hollow grind. So it's a real slicer. It's gone through lots of cardboard from the gentleman that I bought it. He broke down lots of cardboard boxes with it, and myself, I've broken down a few. And this coating that's on here, it's a DLC coating, which I do believe that stands for diamond-like coating. It is holding up extremely well. Although one of the knocks on this knife, though, I gotta say, is this clip. It's a short little clip. It's not particularly deep carry, and they don't have the diamond-like coating on the clip or the back spacer. Now that maybe this knife has been discontinued in the CTS XHP. Like I said, they've gone to an S35 VN now. I'm not too sure about the new ones. If the new ones have got the diamond-like coating, the DLC coating on the back spacer and the clip, but if they did, it would make these things hold up extremely well, because that's really only the really kind of bad-looking part of this knife is the fact that you've got some wear on the back and some wear here on the pocket clip. Now, speaking of this pocket clip, you know what? I'm a real Spyderco guy, and I think the best Spyderco clip going is this wire clip. You know what? It's got good retention. It's kind of a deep carry, and it fits in the pocket really nice. It goes in and out extremely well. But this little short stubby one just seems to grab my pants, and it doesn't seem to kind of go in the pocket very well. And I'm not too sure if it maybe needs to be adjusted or the spring needs to be taken out a little bit, but this knife's 4 years old or so. You'd think that it would be loosened up by then. Now, this is the first Cold Steel that I've particularly owned, and I heard that the Triad Lock is a real bear to use. I heard it's tough to use, it's tough to break down, but this one seems to be broken in really nice. Deploying the knife is very smooth. And it kind of's got the drop shotty with a little bit of press to it, and it's got the drop shotty action. So I think this one is broken in really, really well. And you know what, I'm like everybody else. I've seen all the Triad Lock commercials on YouTube where they beat the hell out of the lock and it doesn't fail. I think it's an extremely tough, durable lock. And if something's going to fail, I don't think it's a Triad Lock. So I think it opens up with a very, very assured click. And there's no movement to it whatsoever, side to side or up and down. It's like they say, it's bank vault locked, bank vault safe. Now let's just see here. Some of the knocks on this knife here. This thumb stud. It looks like it's just a screwed, a threaded thumb stud here that you can actually take it and screw it, you know, in or out, depending upon the bias that you want. You know, it's a left or right-handed side. I actually tried to even it out a little bit because I'm kind of a sucker for things that are, you know, the same on both sides. It drives me crazy that this one is out a little bit, and it started to strip right away. So I'm not too sure if it's thread locked in there or if the coating on it is stopping it or if it's just so old, but I decided rather than strip it out completely, I would just leave it alone and just kind of live with it. You know what, other than that, you know what, it's a fantastic knife. The fellow who owned it actually kept it sharp with a Spyderco sharp maker, so it's got a great edge on it. And like I said, I've broken down some cardboard boxes with it. I've cut a little bit of rope and I've cut some carpet with it, and it still seems you know, perfectly, you know, hair whittling, not hair whittling, but shaving sharp. I'm gonna probably put a really, really thick edge on this. I'm going to probably see if I can put around a, you know, probably a 12 or 13 degree edge on this and give it a mirror polish. And I want to see how it'll perform after that. You know, from what I hear, this CTS XHP has great edge retention and is extremely good blade steel. I guess it's got a little bit better edge retention than the S35VN. But I guess it's supposed to be not quite as tough. But, you know, that's just kind of what I've read. This is the first knife that I've had with CTX XHP. Would I recommend this knife? You know, I certainly think it's a great EDC knife. I think it's a little bit big for kind of every day. If you're not a knife guy, if you're just your average guy and you need a knife to open mail and boxes and stuff, this might be a little bit overkill. But I also think that this is an extremely fine, say, camp knife that'll do some feather sticking, and it'll also do some food prep because it is quite thin, and it'll do it, and I think, kind of smiling at the end. Although with this one here, another knock I have on it is I wish it had a little bit larger of a lanyard hole. Like, it's got just a small, tiny lanyard hole about the same size as a screw hole. I wish that was a little bit bigger because I have some leather I'm going to try to put in there. I like all my knives. I like to put that leather on there, and it's just great purchase to kind of pull out. So I know I was missing that when I was EDCing this knife here the last month or so. So once again, we've got a clip point Cold Steel Recon 1 with a 4-inch blade, 5 1/4 inches long close length, and in total length of 9.25. CTX XHP with a blade thickness of 3.5 millimeters. The DLC coating. This one here, they call it flat dark earth, which looks like kind of just basically a brown. I might actually get out some RIT dye and dye this up a little bit darker. You know, it's an okay color, but you know what, I like my knives a little bit, I'm not a big fan of this brown. Handle thickness is 1/2 inch, and you've got the Triad Lock, which is, I do believe, the safest lock that's out there right now. And the weight on this is, I've a couple of different conflicting sites, and I don't have my scale going, but I soon will, is we've got 4.7 ounces. Another site here says 5.3 ounces. So it seems like I would say with the 4.7 ounce. It is a big knife, but you know what? It's very, very similar to the Spyderco K2 and a little bit heavier than this Spidey Chef. So I'd lean towards the 4.7 ounce. And you know what? It's made in Taiwan. The blade is censored up extremely well. Looks like it is on my left, it's ever so slightly a hair width left. You know, some people call that a C hair, but it's just a little bit to the left. But other than that, the fit and finish is really good. It's smooth, and as the Triad Lock will make it, it's not a kind of the one that you want to sit there and fidget with while you're watching a movie, because I think that it's a little bit more beefier than that. But it is something that you definitely want to take as, say, a camping knife, a hard use work knife, and something that will get you through the day, no problems. Now, if anybody's out there who has the Cold Steel Recon 1 Tanto, I would love to trade that knife for this one. Ultimately, I've been trying to get a hold of a pre-owned Tanto, and I haven't been able to get a hold of one. And so if just leave your name in the comments, get a hold of me here at thebigcanucker@gmail.com. And if you want to do a little bit of a switcheroo, I'd be more than happy to do that, because I'd like to try that Tanto out. So, you know, it doesn't have to be the CTS XHP, but I would prefer that. Or, you know, if you have an S35 VN1 and you want to trade that up, I'm okay with that too as well. So, if you like the videos and you like what I'm doing here, please like the video, subscribe, and give me the old thumbs up. All right, so I want you guys to keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up, and keep the pointy side away from your bits. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.